presenting this as though it's just a movie that we're watching and listening to. How about a question?
And when in time you talk, you think about the question, I talk a little bit about the surface level. You can see easily because it's just a surface, and you can. It's just like appearance. You can see just like hair, clothes, everything. But the deep inside is the heart, the motivation, the engine inside, deeper, and everything. That you cannot see, but it's the really make the people how they do like this, how they do the different, and they will have a lot different behavior because for the benefits, personal benefits, or organization benefits, everything. So for a company, you have to improve the deep level for your organization deeper, and because the different like this, the diversity you will have the agreement or disagreement between the employees and between the employee with the organization is increase the break between the people together, and then you are the manager. You have to do the balance. You have to program. You have everything to build how to balance it and focus on the organization goals. That's it.
Is language a surface level diversity characteristic or a deep level diversity characteristic?
The language, another side is the surface, but another side is the, for example, the meaning of language is the deep side.
Okay, the meaning of language. Okay.
Yes.
So, explain for me, from your point of view,
yes,
how I, if you're a professor,
yes,
have used diversity in this classroom to our advantage.
For example, about your teach method, you think that that way is good, but with other people with the study engine, you will have a different way, and maybe, for example, with your metaphor, sometimes people will do, okay, I will create a beautiful metaphor, and they waste a lot of time. But some people will say that, oh, I will invest to the contents of the article, and we'll have more time to do it. So, for example, if you can see the metaphor is beautiful, but sometimes it's empty, and sometimes you see your metaphor really bad, but inside it's different because the meaning is really different. And of course, for the deep level like this, so
okay,
people
that's
study.
a good example of deep level. Any other examples? Our host before we get the question.
Okay, self-belief and diversity can be benefit for the organization.
So can you?
How can self-belief and diversity can be benefit for the organization?
Okay, let me try to answer you. Self-civil diversity in the organization. How can it be benefit? In some place, for example, let's take Taiwan. If you have a restaurant in Taiwan which serving Asian people, it will be interesting for you to go there and have your lunch. So you know when you go there, you will find some friends, old friends, some other Asian too. You have a cultural link with this Asian. So in this kind of business, the restaurant, it is surface-level diversity. Since we were talking about culture, we are talking about, you will find person who speak Creole, and it will be a way for you to explain yourself in Creole.
Do you read the example of the home debate about in this example we say about the age? For example, with some company they manufacture, they need the younger people. With home debate, they need the older people who have the prudential ability, and they work more carefully. So it's just benefit. It depends on you. If you are a leader, you design your program. And any question?
I have a question.
Yes.
How good and how bad is discrimination in this kind of surface diversity and individual diversity?
Repeat?
Good or bad, I think that's
How good and how bad is discrimination in this context?
good or bad, I think that is depend on the truth, because we sit here, we think a lot of things, but the truth is when we apply in the real, good or bad will answer. We cannot say that that's good, that's bad.
I think I want to add something. We have what we call the unfair discrimination. For example, unfair.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, unfair discrimination. So, in the process of hiring people for an organization, if a manager chooses to not hire the good person, the person with the best potentiality, we have the unfair discrimination. So I think it is a bad thing. Another way, in Haiti, for example, they choose to give women more chance over men, since just to make the balance. We know a few times that there are several times we have women with discrimination. We put them away and do not give them such good potential in the organization to raise up. So we are talking about discrimination there. Good discrimination in that case.
Well, raise your hand. This is the problem with the presenter. The presenters can't see this. They can see this.
Well, I was thinking about some stereotypes that connect surface level diversity and deep level diversity. For example, Americans. People think, Americans, surface level diversity, very individualistic, deep level diversity. Russians, surface level diversity, drink a lot of alcohol, deep level diversity. What do you think about those kind of stereotypes? Can you really connect it or not?
Yes, and I think that when you are a manager, you have to manage it, and we have the different side in different parts about the diversity management. So in the next session, we will discuss it.
My question wasn't about the management, actually. My question was, are those stereotypes true or not? That's what I really meant.
We have to match, because if you have the messy organization, you cannot control everything. You have to, because you have the message individual, so we have to program to make to make the decisive life for all people active action in this activities.
Okay. I just have a few comments to make. Another manner of being a professor utilizing diversity. Thank you, Wall. You're right. Different ways of thinking, a deeper level type of diversity. So I want to be sure that I can try to at least open up those opportunities for people who think metaphorically, iconically, and in addition to rationally and logically. I think metaphorically and iconically first, and then I follow up with the little. So that's a deep level. A surface level here is language. From the very first day, and I absorbed this from last year if I had not done this. Yeah. I made sure that everybody was in a group where the person you're likely to lean to the left or lean to the right, that you're going to speak to, but you did not speak the same common language. In order to challenge you to develop your extemporaneous English, which you're going to need for international business. Yeah. So managers have to be proactive in utilizing diversity. It's just not enough to say that we have a list of people, we have X percentage of certain percentage of females and males. That's called diversity with the cynicism is that's diversity with the meat cleaver. Boom, I have that. Boom, have that. Have that. It doesn't have any integrity. It doesn't have any unity. It doesn't have anything solid. So diversity that looks at things in a very segmented way is not going to be very beneficial. Now, what underlies, well, let me ask anyone to raise your hand if you can give me the antonym. What is the opposite of the word diverse? think of a synonym.
Fusion?
The opposite of the word diverse.
Fusion.
Fusion, homogeneous, common. Now, if you want to utilize a diversity, you also have to recognize and balance and integrate building upon a foundation that is common values. That's the most common. We can easily find out in about 15 minutes a common value set that we all have. And we know that we can rest assured that anything that we do that's diverse and different and maybe conflictual and confrontational still is going to rest atop a common foundation of values. Many times that's taken for granted. People just assume that. So it's good to invest time as a manager not only in diversity and deep level diversity, but deep level values, because that's sort of the aquifer. That's where it all comes together, and we can stretch our boundaries of diversity, knowing that we always reset to a common value. All of you are here because you value education. You know that right away. And collaboration. Pretty much everyone values collaboration. So there are lots of different ways to approach this. Discrimination. That term in and of itself, or that concept in and of itself, is not negative. We have to discriminate. What's sweet, what's sour, what do I like, what do I don't like. We are born in this world with the ability to make those sorts of comparisons. As we get older, we learn what do I prefer, what do I not prefer. That is discriminating. But if it's unfair, that's just, we're getting into ethics and morals and social justice and those aspects. That's where it takes on a different meaning. Stereotypes. I think it could, in cases, it can be made that there's a little tiny bit of truth to stereotypes. That's why they are stereotypes. That's why Disney is a great myth maker. You go to Disney World, you go to different places at Disney World, you're seeing myths. You're seeing stereotypes. You go to the Mexican, Hispanic pavilion, and they go, sombreros, those are stereotypes. So there's a little tiny bit of truth to all stereotypes. So before, but you can't take a little stereotype and make it a generalization. It doesn't work that way. But you always will find that if you did a little bit of investigation, there's probably, arguably, some little tiny bit of stereotype to the truth that Russians like to drink a lot of vodka. That's true. And I think, and Scots and Irish drink a lot of beer. Right? And Americans tend to be very independent. Okay, there's a bit of truth to everything, but never allow yourself to be sucked into a stereotype and to make it completely distort your perception. So diversity is really, it's great. Recognize that at the deep level, it has commonalities, and when you can develop both at the same time, you have a potential for a very rich, very dynamic, very positive, beneficial workplace. That's very exciting.